Hey guys, welcome back to Evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. I so appreciate it. Thank you for the emails and all the comments. It's been a lot of fun. This episode is going to be dedicated to how to communicate better in a relationship, specifically a romantic one. I think most of us, for sure, have that as a challenge in our lives. And I think the main reason is this, is that we always want to be right. We want to prove the other person wrong. So what turns out happening is that something comes up in a relationship, something that you don't like, and instead of it being a place where you become curious as to why you don't like it, what is it about you, because it always starts right here, remember what I always say, it starts right here. What is it about you that's making this an issue for you? So instead of it being a place of starting the conversation with, I feel X, Y, and Z, we tend to start with, you make me feel like this, and you didn't do this, and you did that. So what does that do for the other person? The only thing that you can do, which is that you become defensive, you start to justify your behavior. The ego is in full throttle because it wants to prove a point. It wants to win, no matter the costs. And you lose sight of the fact that what you're trying to do is grow in the relationship. You're trying to find a resolution. You're trying to find some kind of harmonious end to this issue that's come up. You know, you want to work through it. But we don't do that. That's a discussion. That's what we're trying to do. What we do is argue. We argue because we feel attacked, because we feel that somehow this person is not getting it, and I need to prove to them. I need to somehow show how right I am and how wrong they are. That doesn't lead us to anything but, you know, quite honestly, a lot more pain, and it just escalates. And if you think about it, really think about your relationships, you've probably had the same argument over and over and over again. And that's just why, because it's an argument, it's not a discussion. There's never a space where you say, wait a minute, hold on. You say that you're feeling like this and like this and like that. Why is that? Let's talk about this. Let's analyze it. Let's see what you're bringing into this relationship that's making you feel that way, right? And what I mean by that is that we bring old baggage. Eckhart Tolle speaks about this in The Power of Now. He says, when you're in a relationship and you're speaking with someone and something comes up, rarely, it's really, really strange how this happens, but rarely are you speaking truly about what's going on. It's usually, you've got some old movies playing in your head about what happened to you the last time this came up. And mind you, it's on a very subconscious level, so you don't realize you're doing it, but you are. I've been very guilty of that because I had a very dysfunctional upbringing. So a lot of times in relationships, for me, anytime I felt, I always felt like I was being attacked, or I was being criticized or judged, or somehow I was doing something wrong. And so my reaction, because it was a reaction really, a knee-jerk reaction, would always be to attack, to manipulate, to kind of win and prove you wrong. Now that I'm a little older, I feel, and I've been single for 2 years, I feel like I'm in a much better space to be open to discuss and to listen, to validate somebody's feelings, to not take it personally. I know it's difficult because when it's in a romantic relationship, you always think, well, how could it not be personal? We're in this together, but it really, if you think about it, it always starts with you. So if you can go back to yourself, to why it's affecting you, you'll find the answer. You'll be less inclined to attack and more inclined to kind of like work with the person as opposed to against the person. So those are the big differences I think we have in communication, which is that we want to always prove the other person wrong and we want to win, as opposed to having a discussion and coming to a resolution so that relationship can be set up to win. Isn't that a much more beautiful place to be? So throughout your week, and maybe even tonight, if you have a chance and it comes up, a discussion, a disagreement, something that you don't like, something that somebody's doing that, that's another thing, by the way. When somebody's doing something that you don't like, it's usually something you don't like about yourself. I have my dear friend, Reverend Maria Felipe, who just wrote a book actually called Live Your Happy, and you should go get it. And she talks a lot about how if you spot it, you got it. And it's so true. Like I always used to say, if somebody's pushing those buttons on you, it's because usually your family, is because they installed them. But when it's somebody else doing it, if somebody else is pushing those buttons on you, that's your stuff. That's your issues. Otherwise, it wouldn't bother you. Otherwise, it wouldn't come up. So the next time you're in a relationship, or if you're in one right now and you're having an argument, see, I said it, an argument, make sure it turns into a discussion. Make sure that it has resolution. Make sure that somehow you can listen to each other and you take back your power and stop giving it away. Nobody's making you feel anything. Nobody's doing anything to you. They are allowed to have their feelings just as you are allowed to have yours. Isn't that wonderful? Mutual respect. Go figure. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to subscribe, tell your friends, and I have a few surprises